we are live here to chat about tonight's episode of Suits, which was 9X03, and tonight's episode of Pearson, which was 1X03. It's so wild to me that we only have 7 episodes left, because I'm used to going 10 episodes into this before, or like 9, before we only have 7 left. Shana, are you dealing with it well?
Can you not? I mean, I had a conversation just, I think today that, you know, I don't want to like beg for more episodes because I feel like having only 10 is part of what's driving the actual quality here. But at the same time, like, I don't want it to end. Like, this hurts, you know?
I completely understand. I like that being restricted to 10 episodes has sort of forced them to really pick up the pace, really focus on the characters, really get from point A to point B, and I think it has improved the quality. I will say, I think actually the creator of Suits did mention several seasons ago that he always wanted it to only be 10 episodes per season. So maybe some of the like pacing issues that we've commented on before were really just sort of those involved dragging their feet and wanting it to be something it wasn't. Anyways, I really appreciated it, and I thought we saw a lot of progress tonight. So let's jump in with a rating. I know I already see Hessa in the chat saying hi. Hi, Hessa. Hi, everybody else joining. We're going to start off by rating tonight's episodes, both of them, on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being you hated the episodes, 5 being you loved them. You can rate them both combined, or you can rate them both separately. Shana, how would you rate the 3rd episode of this 10-episode sequence for both Suits and Pearson?
So like when I was screaming about it the first time I watched it, I was like, this is a 12, prove me wrong. And nobody has, so I have to go with 12, I think.
A 12. Yeah, I really enjoyed tonight's episode of Suits. I liked tonight's episode of Pearson. It really started to grow on me, especially at the end. I started to realize how good this show is at making Jessica Pearson seem both like goddess and human at the same time, which is really fun. I think Suits a lot of times erred on the side of making her goddess first and human sort of second, which obviously I love. I love every way that she's portrayed. You could write terrible lines and Jessica Pearson would still come across as incredible because of Sheena Torres. But I think that this show in particular is doing a really good job at weaving in some humanity for her without like dropping the goddess side. Whereas for Suits before, I think anytime they were weaving in some humanity for her, they were sort of chipping away at the goddess armor a little bit and trying to show that balance, but they couldn't let them coexist. I don't know. Maybe that's unfair criticism. What do you think about that play for Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, I really, really, really like the phone call scene. Because that was, and the scene at the end with her cousin. I know I just watched tonight's episode, but since I watched actually 3, 4, and 5 back to back earlier, I'm very off in my timing. But yeah, it's definitely
everything probably does start to kind of run together when you watch all the episodes together. So Shana watches some of the episodes in advance through screeners, so she's got a few episodes ahead of us on Suits and Pearson, I believe.
1 ahead on Suits. And they did a really mean thing by posting it today because I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst time to do this because of course I'm going to watch it, but like episode 3 airs tonight and you've got to like be in your head for that episode and not say what happened in the next one. As far as Pearson goes, I think my problem is I still like, I care about Jessica. I care about Jessica's family. Yoli is growing on me because she's so awkward and I can relate. But like, I really don't care about the other supposedly big players. Like the mayor could drop dead and I'd be like, okay. And you know, like it just, and this McGann guy too.
Like, I want the mayor to drop dead. And it's not even because I dislike him. I just want him to like go run off and get your wife healthy or whatever. And I want Jessica to run for office. But that's just all part of my master plan where Donna then comes in and is her campaign manager. Because over on Suits, everything is falling apart. And while I feel like Donna could be COO forever, regardless, even if all of the other people leave the firm, I think I could see Donna moving on to a different firm, different whatever. So why wouldn't she and Harvey move to some cute suburbs outside of Chicago, and Harvey could be some stay-at-home dad, and she could be COO of Jessica's firm, her campaign manager, and Lewis could be off in New York being a judge somewhere. Katrina can become senior partner. You agree, right?
Isn't she already senior partner?
Katrina? Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think that's Sam and Alex.
No, that's name partner.
Name partner. They made name partner.
So yeah, like, I mean, obviously if Donna was to show up in Chicago, Harvey would have to come with her because they're not ever going to be apart ever again. Oh God. Yeah, I like your ideas otherwise though. Harvey could even do legal things, just like not corporate asshole law. Like he'd have to do family law maybe, or
he could be a stay-at-home dad. It's fine.
He could, yeah, but he could look. Donna likes her expensive, literally everything. Daddy,
True.
Daddy's law degree is what's kind of furnished that, because she's not going to make anywhere else what he's paid her because he's daddy. So, I mean, we got to keep that career in mind. The fact that she's been COO of a major law firm would be a good resume thing, except that it's that law firm. So,
speaking of daddy, transition, what do you think of this whole Lewis and Sheila storyline? She's still pregnant. Don't you feel like she's been pregnant for like 5 years in Showtime?
Well, no, because, well, yes, but at the same time, according to like just last week's episode, I think, like it was still 12 years for Harvey and Donna. So we've had 8 seasons where 3 or 4 seasons where no time has passed since he thanked her for 12 years. So of course Sheila's going to be pregnant for what in normal people time is like a decade, because Suits doesn't follow real time. It's much slower, much like Harvey's brain.
Suits is turning into 24, in which an entire season takes place in the span of one day, one calendar day.
I don't even think this group is dumb enough to mess up as many times as they have per season in one day, though. And like Mike was in prison, definitely he slept overnight at least a couple times. And Donna and Harvey have slept overnight at least a dozen times. So
Mike was in prison. He was in a holding cell for a grand total of 4 hours in Showtime, which is approximately half a season. Okay, so speaking of Mike, he's going to be rejoining us soon. What are you looking forward to with that?
I have no, like, first of all, I need his reaction to all the sex. And also, since we can't have Rachel, I'm going to need him to be a mouthpiece for her, which is going to be hard because you can't really be a mouthpiece for somebody else. But this is the corner that we're in now. And I think it will be, I just want like a nice farewell to that dynamic that I thought we got, but I know a lot of people felt cheated out of to some extent, since Patrick's last episode, Gabriel was over doing the backdoor pilot, kind of half of the plot, so you didn't really get to see a lot of Mike and Harvey. I get it. Like, I want to see like the Batman and Robin thing, but then I want Donna to come in and be like, save Metropolis for me, baby. Yeah.
So just jumping into the chat here, I see Rachel C is agreeing with you. She says, can't wait to see Mike and Darby. She wants to see that reaction as well. Hessa says, can we talk about the 12 Harveys, OMG, in Lewis's dream?
Oh my God.
And Sasha H says that all of this cannot take place in just one single night.
Well, that's
She
Aaron
may also
Korsh.
be referencing the fact that Harvey can't go without Donna in a single night. They kind of read the phrase either way. Rachel says, is it possible for Megan to do a cameo? Wish Rachel could have seen Darby together. Rachel, it's funny you mentioned that because there was something I apparently, and I had forgot that I had ever tweeted this. Back in 2017, I had tweeted, no matter what happens and what the show does, I will never forgive them for not getting Harvey and Donna together while they still had a chance to have Mike, Rachel, and Jessica all in the show at the same time. And I think at that point, I was reacting to the fact that Gina Torres was leaving the show because at the time she had just got like a pilot with ABC, and I think she was also doing something where Revenge had offered her like a recurring role. She just had a lot. She always does. And then eventually she ended up getting the spinoff, but at that point we didn't know it. So I think we were reacting to that news, or I was reacting to that news. And I was saying, like, no matter what the show does, no matter when they get Harvey and Donna together, I'm never going to forgive them for the fact they didn't get them together when all of the other players could have reacted to it and been involved in it. And as for Megan doing a cameo, I don't think that's anywhere close to being possible. I love the idea of Rachel Seep. I just don't think that's anywhere in the realm of what the show would be able to pull off. So we're never going to see Donna's best friend. And we got those jokes tonight about not knowing anything about Donna's family and how supposedly she has a sister or whatever. We just never heard about. They can build a best friend, like an insta best friend for her at the last minute, like how they're kind of trying to joke that like she and Lewis are pseudo best friends and have girls' night. That's fake, and I don't like that joke. I think that's really cringy. Calling Lewis constantly a girl, I think is really demeaning and has some underlying sexist tones. Second, it's just kind of belying the fact that Donna doesn't have a best friend now that Rachel's gone, and I'm sorry, but I love the dynamic with Gretchen, but quite frankly, she occasionally she goes to Gretchen when she needs support or to like move work off to somebody. It's not a best friend dynamic. They could make it that, they just haven't made it that. And we're never going to get to see a best friend react to it. But we are going to see Mike come back and react on Harvey's side. So sadly, no Megan. I don't know. What do you think, Shana?
But Lewis and Donna have always been very, very, very close. The girl thing I agree with you about because, you know, Lewis can like all the things he likes and still be a guy and kind of, I don't know, sexist is the word I'd use, but it's something. It's not, it's cringy in a way. Because, like, to give him all those female attributes, like, I don't care. Or female coded, I don't care one way or another. But then to say that this is only women, ew. But it's not necessarily saying they're bad things, right? So I actually like that Donna went over and showed her support. I don't like that Sheila was a part of it because Sheila and Donna have never been best buds. And Donna was supposed to be going over to help Lewis out with how he was feeling left out of their friendship because Donna and Harvey have been having nonstop sex marathons. So why would Lewis's girlfriend be there for that when, like, the whole point is that Lewis has been third wheeling? Like, so I didn't like the line about, oh, you're the most important woman. Cause no, he's Lewis. Unless he suddenly identifies as female and then we have like a whole nother can of worms to open that I don't want Aaron Korsh and friends going anywhere near.
In the middle of season 9.
Especially this late in the game. Yeah.
Join a particular, progressive track or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But, no, obviously Rachel was the best friend. Obviously Rachel would have been the better choice had we actually done this in a timely manner. Like, cut out all of the Paula and all of the what's his name, and you could have had this exact relationship as we see it, only when everybody was still there. And that would have been, there's no reason why they couldn't have, So, there's always going to be that. I'm always going to feel robbed. But I do feel like what we got, really, I feel like I was watching fan fiction come to life tonight. Like, Donna actually sharing her feelings about Harvey being big, dumb that thought that, oh, I'll just agree with you and you'll like it. You know, and then Harvey watches Oprah, and then they went on a date. They went on like a real date, and it was so perfect until Lewis interrupted it. And even then, since they turned the phone off, but like we're
It
getting
was
content.
very it was very fan fictiony, but it was also very real. It was nice to
Mhm.
see them struggle with the like super typical first date environment, because they're not first date people, you know. It may be their first date where they're admitting it's a date, but
Mhm.
they're not in the like, hi, how's the weather stage. And it was nice to see them admit that and come at it from a different angle and have to sort of adjust around it. Sasha H says, things I loved about today's episode: Alex and Samantha, Samantha and Katrina, Katrina and Susan. Yes, I agree. I think the side players are really strong in this. I'm loving everything they're doing with Katrina this season. And I'm still over here on the pro Katrina and Samantha train, by the way, which will never happen because Suits is, in fact, not on some I don't know what term was I using. Are they? Anyways, they're not going to do that. Everybody's going to be like obnoxiously heterosexual this entire show. Like, I'm so sorry. It's not what I would choose, but no one asked me, unfortunately. Rachel agrees. She loves Katrina. Rachel also said the reason she wanted Rachel wanted Rachel in the show to come back because she really wanted Rachel to ask the most emotional question to Donna. It would have been a nice parallel. I quite agree. I think that would have been hilarious. I think they really went a long time really struggling with the writing for Rachel because they had such a great concept for her, and then they had such, you know, missteps with the execution. I know Megan's spoken about that before as well. It would have been nice to see
Season 4.
Rachel come back with a lot of sort of strength and direction and not being just the hot girl on the show with different characterization every season. Sasha says, especially after the cringy Brian and Katrina track last season, Rachel says she is a Katrina and Craig shipper. Ooh. Sasha says, I'm glad Katrina's getting more this season. I just think Katrina has such good chemistry with every woman on the show. I think, I'm pretty sure this is an unpopular opinion. I thought she had great chemistry with Brian as well. That just wasn't the like romance that I wanted for her. Like, I want her to be loved, not play second fiddle, obviously. Um, but yeah, Katrina's very shippable. What do you think?
I actually feel bad because I think when I recap the episode, I had so much to say about everything else. I never even got to Sam and Katrina. And I did quote Sam in whatever the end section was that I call it this time, because I really liked her line about, it was family and it was what I needed. I can't remember the exact words right now because I'm like, honestly, even at the worst times for Suits, that's how I felt about all of it. Like that. If you watch the show for just that, there have been very few times where that has been a bad dynamic or poorly done. It's everything else that at the messy times was messy, but it was family, I think, has always been the message. There is a line and a big ass thing coming up that is 100%, I feel like, was written for me. I will throw that teaser out there. Come at me next week with what you think it was. But yeah, I think the whole family thing has always been, I mean, it's real. It's what the show is. I think giving a nod to that by continuing to kind of further develop the newer characters into bringing them as family is really great. And Katrina, first of all, so what's going to happen here is, Faye has to die first. Like, that's not even a question. But then immediately after I step over Faye's dead body after jumping into my television, I'm going for Susan because she really did that. Like, she came in there as an associate trying to blackmail somebody with the affair that they didn't have because they were I don't want to say better than that because that's ugh. But because their particular moral compass said no to that, and so did the guy.
I just
You know what I
love
mean?
how into that you are, because I think that that is such a testament to the good and quick writing that they have this season,
Mhm.
that even the side stories for a side character referencing a side non-romance from the season before can get us that passionate. I saw the timeline fired up about that one as we were going. I was really into that storyline to see where it was going to go. It was such a side storyline, and but it was so well done. And I think what you said about like how the show ties in family, I think that's a good place to end this too, because that's really what we're wanting to see going forward is the key family members um, getting a chance to develop as family. We see the same thing for Pearson. I think that's certainly the strength of the show right now is the family that they're building around Jessica, which is giving her some humanity and kind of a cause and a place to go forward with it. So I
Mhm.
think for both shows, that family dynamic is really what's working for them, other than not necessarily in some of the more literal senses, like what they're doing with Lewis and Sheila. It also
Yeah.
ties into Rachel's most recent comment in the chat. She says, "Does anyone think Donna is going to end up pregnant?" I do know some people who think Donna is going to end up pregnant. I also believe Donna will end up pregnant. Hessa says, "I feel like Katrina will have a huge thing at the end of the series. I feel Katrina can and should take over Firm,
Mhm.
personally." We'll see how that goes. And with that,
I think it's
we are at
Alex.
time. So, Shayna, where can they find you if they want to chat further about Suits or Pearson or anything?
You can find me screaming into the void. I'm on Twitter at Shazors with a 0, not an O. I'm on the TV Addict. I write epistles after every episode, and every time I'm like, wow, this needs to wrap up. A billion words later. I am, yeah, that's where I am, actually. Those are 2 places mostly.
And Shayna is also in the description down below. I have her information there, or just take 3 steps towards the void and scream loudly, and you will find her.
I will hear you.
She says she will hear you. She will. And I am Cammie Ray, and I'll see you next week, same time, but not exactly the same place, because for the past couple weeks I've been getting a notification as we've been going live here on Google Hangouts, which obviously, as you know, is just live streamed to YouTube, and that's how you all are watching it, and that's how you watch it after the fact. Apparently, Google Hangouts is going away, and there's something like YouTube Live or something like that that we're supposed to be using. I think functionally from y'all's end, it's just going to look like YouTube, but on Shayna and my end, we may have a slightly different setup of how we're going live, but it'll be on YouTube live and afterwards, one way or the other. But see you same time, kind of same place next week. Bye.